welcome. Welcome to this episode, The Real Cost of Changing Your Life. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. And I was thinking about this episode. Really, it was just coming up to me as I was looking at my own life, really this week and this past week, thinking about, okay, I am experiencing growth. I am seeing other things to start to adjust in myself to serve and create more in the world. And what is the air quote price for me to make those changes? And I'll give you an example. Like right now in my business, in Teal Sheep coaching, right? I'm looking at, okay, how am I connecting, right, with the world? How am I serving in the world through my marketing, through my message, the platforms? Like I've been on social media. Do I change that? Do I air quote break up with Instagram? Do I get on Substack? Where do I want to go that feels so energetically light and peaceful and aligned for me, right? Because it's all about my energy then coming out into the world. And then those who align with that energy and resonate with it find me. This is how this works. Energy, right? Like creates like. And I've been on Instagram for quite some time, and there is a lot of programming in the world, subconscious programming and thought in the world and in marketing and in business that like, hey, you need to be on Instagram, right? To grow and reach more people and all those things. And I'm like, you know what, lately it's starting to feel really heavy to me. It used to be a little bit easier with time and all these things. Just make a couple videos and do this and do that and pop it up and no problem. Well, that's feeling less and less light and fun and free and joyful. And so I'm like, do I need to visit, shifting things for myself, right? And you know what? I got into some FOMO on it. Because I'm like, what if I don't do Instagram and I can't help people and they don't know I exist and I can't serve them and they won't find me and they won't be helped and I won't be able to reach them. And I was like, woo, time out. What is the price of transforming and changing my life? Well, that also comes with helping and transforming the lives of others as part of my highest values. But what is the price of that? Follow the energy. What am I doing that is keeping me then from following the energy and the wisdom of my soul, which is then how I move forward and change my life? And if that is fear about leaving Instagram or anything else behind or making a change in my business, that is a cost. That limiting belief is a cost of changing my life. That limiting belief that you have is a cost of you changing your life. And let's dig into this even more. So everything has a price. As I've touched on, everything has a price. And it's not what you think. Right? When you think about everything has a price, has a cost, immediately, like boom, so many are put off and have some resistance coming out, like cost, trigger. Okay. Time, money, energy, effort. Gonna have to go to the gym every day. Gonna have to get up at 4 a.m. Gonna have to do this. Gonna have to do that, right? It brings up these stories of what it looks like and what you have to do and put out in order to change. I look at it a whole other way. Consider what actually all this is. It's just energy. Everything in life is energy. Energy is then always flowing from me to you, from you to the tree, from you to the computer, here, everywhere, in the entire universe, across all eternity. Energy is always flowing from one place to another, from here to there. It's always moving. Energy is constantly being exchanged. And that is what creates the change in your life. That is the air quote price, is moving energy from you, contributing energy in some way, shape, or form to then create what you want. And really, what is the form of that energy? The highest frequency in the universe there is love. That is the most powerful place to then exchange your energy from, and the highest frequency of energy that you can intend to exchange. to create the highest frequency outcomes in your life, the highest frequency changes in your life. Because love is the highest frequency in the universe. It is the frequency of your soul. So backing up a little bit here, think about then, instead of, oh, transformation and change in my life has a cost, reframe that. It's an exchange. It's simply an exchange from this hand to that hand, from this hand to that hand, out of this pocket into that pocket, from here to there. It's just an exchange of energy. And that can take any form that you want it to. But you know what? Like I just mentioned, not every energy is going to create what is you want. Higher frequency creates higher frequency outcomes. Higher frequency exchange from you creates higher frequency outcomes. So I reframed this then when I started changing my life back in 2018, 2019, working with my mentor from, no, I'm not paying a price and I don't have a cost. I'm exchanging my energy to create what I want in my life. And I am using the energy, I am creating from the energy of devotion and love to myself. So I am exchanging that energy. That is a place that I work from. That is intentionally focusing on high frequency energy to create what I want. Love for ourselves, love for yourself, devotion to yourself. Think about it this way. Why is it that you actually are wanting to change and transform your life? Right? Or put another way, why waste, air quote, waste resources, 3D resources, time, money, energy, whatever it is you are investing to make that change, if you don't love yourself? Why bother? If you have the desire, if you're wanting to make the change, which is why you're here, at some level you're doing that because you love yourself. You love yourself enough to want the better life, to enjoy the other things, to have more peace and comfort. You know, peace of mind, love, better relationship, money, whatever it is, you love yourself enough to want that and want to take action for that change. So you already love and have devotion for yourself at some level. Otherwise, why bother, right? So all then you are doing is cracking that wide open even more to look at changing your life from the perspective of, I'm doing this because I love myself, because I am devoted to myself. And I choose and I take action then from devotion to myself and love for myself, rather than the idea of paying a 3D price of money, energy, time, effort, all of those things. Now, does that feel lighter? I ask you. This felt so much lighter to me when I looked at, I'm choosing devotion for myself and love for myself and investing in devotion and love for myself. Instead of, oh, I got to whip out my checkbook or my pocketbook and pay more money. The energy of that is so different. And do you feel then how the resistance starts to lessen when it's just, I'm just going to be devoted to myself? Well, that sounds nice. That sounds peaceful and pleasant and, loving. That's your natural frequency already. You are already pure love. You were born pure love. Everything in the universe is pure unconditional love, and that is you already. You've just been clobbered over with all kinds of other programming and nonsense from the world that has changed your frequency from you radiating pure love out into the world, into this other murky frequency we all tend to put out. Fear, anger, shame, guilt, anxiety, worry, all this other nonsense. But under all of that, you are pure love. So you're just going back to your roots with devotion to yourself and love for yourself. And that is the place then to work from. That starts to make change, pursuing change, so much more easy. I would say easy, not in the way of, no, there's still effort to transform, but easy in the way of it feels lighter. It doesn't feel as heavy or so much resistance then, because you're having to then expend resources or money or all this other stuff. That may happen, right? To create change. Need a coach, need a training buddy, need to get medical health professional or coaching or something else to support you. Read some books, get a video, whatever that looks like for you. 3D resources may still flow for you. But it's easier to let them go, isn't it? When you say that this is an investment I'm making because I'm devoted to myself. Stepping into devotion for yourself and love for yourself has a price, an energetic exchange as well. And that exchange, that air quote cost, is you giving up your hate for yourself, your self-hate, your low self-worth, your self-doubt, right? It's you giving up your people-pleasing and your victim mentality, your toxic relationships. It's you giving up saying yes when you want to say no, right? It's you giving up environments and circles that you're in and jobs and obligations that drain you, that are heavy, that feel low frequency, that are not where you want to rise to, right? A big one that was always a really big one for me as well is this cost of stepping into devotion and love for yourself to change your life. That energetic exchange is then you giving up staying silent and censoring yourself. No more hiding, no more running from yourself. Fear, control, attachment, and expectations around outcomes, worry, anxiety, money woes, that you don't have the money you want yet, that you don't have the health you want yet, limiting beliefs, all of that is the price. It is the energetic exchange of giving all of that up in exchange for devotion and love for yourself. And through then that devotion and love for yourself, you then act accordingly to transform your life. You make choices from that place of, well, I'm devoted to myself. And that means that, yes, I believe in this transformation. I believe it is possible for me. I believe it will happen. It has already happened across eternity. And the universe is going to just 3D print that here in my life as I bring my energy forth to create it. Right? Frequency creates frequency. Like frequency creates like frequency. And if you're working in that frequency of devotion and love, you're stepping into that high frequency. And the universe can't not respond in kind. So look at this list and things that I've mentioned, right? Is it giving up the limiting belief that, they're going to think I'm silly if I do this, or gosh, I'm too old to do this, or I'm not pretty enough to do this, or I weigh too much to do this, or, I've got all these health concerns, XYZ, I don't have the time. It's giving up your excuses. It's giving up all of those excuses and nonsense and stories you're telling yourself. All of those things, exchange that energy, let them go so you step up into devotion and love. Now, think about all this. Is there anything on this list of things or other things you think about that are heavy and low frequency that you are wrapped up in? Is there anything I've said that is too costly for you to give up? Is there anything that there's a price and you're not willing to pay it to have the transformation, the life, the changes that you want? Look at that, because there then is the work. There then is the work where you're saying, look at this idea that, it is too costly for me to love myself. It is too costly for me to give up my fear and control in order to change. It is too costly for me to say, yeah, I can be a millionaire. That is possible for me. And give up your money woes and fears and your programming around money in order to love yourself fully and step into that infinite possibility of infinite riches, which are already your birthright. What is too costly for you to change and let go of and give up and be in exchange of giving up that energy to exchange it for love and devotion energy and create what you want. Because again, if you love yourself, if you are devoted to yourself, what do you choose? Right? How much easier is it for you to give things up out of devotion for yourself because you love yourself than if you are trying to coerce yourself or manipulate yourself just to get the change? This is then why people also see changes not happen, because they aren't working from a place of, yeah, I'm devoted to myself and I love myself, so yeah, I'm going to make this happen. They're working from a place of, yeah, I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this, rather than going deeper to, I want this because it's for me and I love myself. It's an entirely different energy. And when you're just trying to create in order to create and have more, better, different changes in your life, that's all wonderful and good. But it's an uphill struggle because you kind of have to browbeat yourself and push yourself along and try to use willpower to get yourself to that point. When if you're just looking at it from the exchange of, I'm exchanging energy with the universe and I'm devoted and in love with myself to do that. So I make choices that are loving and an example of devotion to myself. Decisions start to be easier. Choices start to be easier. And I saved my life through this process. As many of you know, and some of you don't, I had about, better part of 3 decades off and on with depression and suicidal ideation. And I finally shook all of that and healed all of that by choosing to love and be devoted to myself fiercely. Because, like I talked about at the beginning of the episode, if I love and am in devotion to myself fiercely, it's a no-brainer to just follow my energy and intuition and deep soul guidance to do whatever it is in my business that feels light and good and energetically aligned to serve and to reach my audience, and to cut loose whatever it is, platforms, people, things, whatever it is that I need to cut loose or change or shift, because I'm devoted and in love to myself. Why is that platform or option or resource or whatever it is more important than my devotion and love to myself? No. Is Instagram more important than me? No, I love myself. I'm devoted and all-powerful. I'm choosing me, right? Make those choices. We make those choices then. And it's so much easier to then move forward. Because if you love yourself, you're not then hung up about the money. You're not hung up about the effort or the resources. When you love yourself, you realize that everything is possible. When you love yourself, you're in that place of, I trust it's all going to work out. When you love yourself, you're in that place of, it is already mine and done in the way that is beyond my wildest dreams for my best and highest good. Because why would you tell yourself anything else if you're devoted and loved and in loving relationship with yourself? If you're in devotion and love with yourself, why would you be telling yourself it won't work? I can't have it. It's going to fail. I don't have the money. The money is never going to come back. I don't have time for that. No. When you're in devotion and in love with yourself, the exchange of that energy becomes so much lighter and easier because, again, we look again at this 3D cost, air quote, to create what we want in life, but change created on mental frequency and identity elements of the universe. The 3D is just here in this world. And maybe part of that exchange, like I talked about, well, what creates the real change? Frequency. Everything is energy. And that means everything you are creating is energy. And energy is created and released into the world by you based on what you have in your identity. That's mental. Your subconscious identity is mental. And that frequency then goes out into the world to create. Those are intangibles. This is non-physical stuff. So when we're talking air quote price, it's not a 3D price. Where does it all begin? It begins with those intangibles, the non-physicals. It is non-physical. Non-physical things are the cost and the price. They are the exchange. They are the ultimate exchange. Everything else then flows from there, where then you are then led to maybe make a further exchange of money or effort or resources or other things. But the exchange is energetic. The exchange is non-tangible, non-physical, through your identity, right? But I get it. We're taught that all of that creation is on the 3D level, and that doesn't work. You already know this, right? You've been trying. For how long? Gosh, I know it, right? We've all been there. So what is your takeaway here? What is your takeaway here is that where in your life is the price too high? Where are you saying to yourself that the price is too high to change your life? What is something you are not willing to give up in order to change your life? What fear? What thing you're trying to control? What relationship? What obligation? What is it that you are unwilling and feel like the price is far too high, too expensive, too big an investment to let go of? Look for that. And then ask yourself, can I let go of this thing if I am devoted to myself? Can I let go of this thing if I love myself truly, fully, deeply, fiercely? Can I change my life if I love myself fully and with complete devotion? What choice here can I make? Will I make? Will I choose? If I'm so fully devoted and in loving, compassionate care with myself, see what comes up for you. What are those answers? And see how that leads you on a journey to start to let go of some things. Because it's all those things that you say, I can't give up, or they're too hard to give up, or I don't know how to give up, or it's too pricey to give up, that are keeping you where you are. And you got to figure that out to let them go. And you start to figure that out when you choose devotion and love for yourself, by asking better questions, by probing a little deeper, and by looking at things not again as just this massive cost in whatever way that is built up in your mind to get what you want, whether that's time or money or relationships or environment. Whatever that cost is to you to get what you want, is that cost higher and worth paying to then be devoted and in love with yourself as well and step into the highest frequency of the universe? So ask yourself this and see what comes up for you. But that's your ultimate takeaway. And when you start to work from here, you start to see more and more that really all those things you think are so expensive to give up or let go of, they're not that expensive at all. They're not that costly at all compared to the cost of you living in sadness or misery or unhappiness or feeling not peaceful or feeling not you for the rest of your life, because you chose not to give up, because you chose not to step into that devotion and love for yourself. That is a far more painful place than giving up and releasing anything that you think is too expensive to give up right now. Think about that. Think about that. Okay. Thank you for being here. I trust that this is resonating with you in whatever way it is absolutely meant to, and you're hearing whatever it is that is in your best and highest good. Again, thank you for being here. And as I always say, you are important. You are loved. You are love. Because love is always the answer, and love is all there is in the universe. So step into that place and create from there. How are you going to choose love today? So thank you so much again for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.